Hi there, and welcome to another exciting session of training provided by Quicksoft. In this session, we're going to start a new module now, which is Oracle Fusion Expenses. This module is a very popular module for all employee reimbursements, and it creates a lot of efficiency for the organization or whoever uses it. You can contact us for any training needs by sending an email at contact@quicksoft.com. We are also available on Udemy. We have some courses which are published there. You can enroll those which are at very reasonable price. You can enroll those and take advantage of learning from there. And we have also recently launched subscription-based model for Oracle ERP, where we have started a school where we show you and teach you all the Oracle Fusion Financials module. That is the start. We are going to add more and more modules. If you are interested, please contact us at contact@quicksoft.com so that we can share more details with you. Okay, so now let's start Oracle Fusion Expenses module. Now, what is Oracle Fusion Expenses? What features it provides you? It gives an end-to-end solution for digital expense management. Many organizations are still using paper-based solution. If you see them, they are making these expense reports in Excel, then getting approval and all those. Is very manual, very paper-based. Whereas if they switch to Oracle Fusion Expenses, then they can have end-to-end digitally solution, which can provide all the way from entry to approval to finally payment through the system, and gives a very good solution to the organization. Basically, it streamlines expense processing and reduce cost, because if you look at the manual process, the time it takes to move the papers from one place to other place, the inefficiencies it adds to the whole productivity of the organization are all eliminated if you switch to Oracle Fusion Expenses, and makes it simple for everyone. Yeah, it not only simplifies expense reporting, that we can track what kind of expenditure is happening, but it also ensures the compliance, because in organization there are a lot of policies around employee expenses. Yeah, and if you don't have a process or system in place, there's chances that there may not be fully compliant practices. So once you put the compliance in the system, then system will make sure all policies are followed. Employees use this for submitting the reimbursable expenses. Yeah, so what typically employees will incur expenses, and then they will come back and with the receipts, and then they will attach those receipts against along with the expenses and submit for reimbursement. When the expense is submitted, it typically goes to the employees manager. Yeah, the approval rules can be configured as per your need, but simple rule can be goes to employee manager, and then who will validate and ensure that all the expenses submitted by employee are valid before approving it. Once employee approves, it has another step called auditor. Yeah, then it will, after the employee's manager has approved their expense report, the expense report will flow to auditor. Yeah, so auditor will review all the receipts, check everything, and then make sure all the policies are followed. Anything which is not correct, auditor can reject and send it back for correction. Once the process is completed, expense report is ready to be interfaced to accounts payable for payment. Now, expense report can be paid via payables, or it can be paid by third-party system. Yeah, so at this stage I'm just focusing on payable through payment through payables, but I will share later when we talk about advanced features and all that, how it can be paid through third-party system as well. For each kind of expenditure, we can define various expense category and attach policies along with that, so that when somebody does a transaction, how can system ensure that policies are followed. Policies can be simple things like we can ensure that if somebody is grade A, the per diem allowance is $50 per day. Yeah, for grade B it could be $30. Yeah, so we can define policies based on different parameters of employee, and then we can validate during expenditure entry. Also, very interesting feature, with the expenses can be entered via mobile app. Mobile app is available for entering your expenses. These are just some of the key features. As we move along in our different stages of our this training, I'll share with you more and more. Now, the approach which I'm taking for this expenses training is slightly different from other modules. What we're going to do here is we will do complete bare minimum steps. Yeah, so basically all the setups which are minimum required for this, we'll do those, and then we'll complete one full cycle of expense report, so that you understand, okay, by just doing these few setups, I can go from all the way from A to Z, finish all the setup and see everything in action. Once this is done, then our first step is ticked. Yeah, then we'll go on to add variation and complex scenarios and see complete setup for those as well. And then once you've done those setup, we'll be testing those setup to make sure all the variation which we have added, how they're coming into action. Yeah, so the whole basis of this approach is that we start with simple, implement it end to end, so that you get clarity. Then we slowly and gradually add complications. So what we're going to do in bare minimum steps is we'll do these options, which are pretty much most of what we need to do. But later we'll add some more variations. We'll manage expenses system option, which are more at global level. We'll set up some global parameters for expenses. We'll manage expense report template. So expense report, basically what is an expense report? Expense report inside has some expenses, airfare, per diem, hotel, all those. So we'll define those templates, and then we'll define employees and then assign them a manager. We'll also assign data access. Data access is used for assigning business unit access, so which business unit employee can do expenses for. I will also show you approval rules where employees request will go to the manager for approval. Then finally we'll go through the various stages of expense report, and then once it's approved, it will go to interface to payables for payment. So these are steps we'll go through. Yeah, now let me show you all this in action in the system, and then we'll go through each particular step. First I'll explain you the step, then I'll show you the step in action in the system. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this introduction chapter for expenses. Yeah, I've shared with you what are the features of expenses module and what is the approach which I'm going to take to train you through the expenses module. Yeah, as we move in a different chapter, slowly and gradually you'll start getting knowledge about this expenses module and start knowing how to do what to make sure the implementation is successful. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and happy learning.